Hello, it's me again. The last video was cut off due to recording issues, so I left off right where I was. Right before it crashed. I have recording issues a lot, and that's about as much as I'm about to say about it. So, let's just continue with the battle. Oh, over here we can see shots have been fired by my light foot, and they're aiming right at these enemy skirmishers, but they're starting to fire back. So, this is at the very left flank of my line, right here. And what I didn't see at this point was the enemy cavalry coming in. And I didn't see them until a very long time, and that was a big mistake. And at this point, I'm blasting the enemy with canister shot from my artillery, and they're taking whole loads of casualties, and these guys rout really quickly. So this is the first French attack right here against part of my line, and these guys are already running away, these Fusiliers, down to 80 men out of 120. But this is what I was talking about. Suddenly, out of nowhere, come French cavalry. I saw them a bit early, but my cavalry wasn't really developed enough to go in, so kind of rushed it. And you see my infantry is fighting along with my cavalry. This, but hold on a minute. Okay, sorry guys. Thought the phone was ringing. It wasn't. But you see right here, they almost routed my light foot. They're pretty depleted. 42 out of 90 men killed by the cavalry. So, and also about the same time, I didn't see it at the time, but they launched another cavalry assault right into my artillery, and that took it out pretty quickly. But sometime around this time, I notice, apparently not yet, but I notice and I take my cavalry and charge them in. Oh, there they go. But by that time, the damage was already done, so nothing more I can do about it. Here, the cavalry fight is still raging, and by this time, I've brought in my Highland foot right here. Right here. And I've got my general close by to stop the enemy troops stop my troops from breaking. You can see here was the cannon line, but these guys got routed by the cavalry also. So I'm bringing up my King's German Legion foot, which is my last reserve, one of my last reserves, and I'm taking it here, and they're going to, apparently not yet, but eventually they're going to fire into there. And right here, I'm not doing too well. The enemy's got a few units against mine. This one, line infantry, depleted. You can see where my first line was because of the casualties, but so I pulled my men back. And also right here, I charged my cavalry after the enemy's retreating cavalry, just to make sure they didn't come back. But that was actually a big mistake. The enemy infantry is formed in a square, and I lose all of my cavalry this way. Cavalry.
Our men are running, sir.
There it is. You see, they're running away already. But right here, the fight is still raging, and the enemy is still firing at me. So right here, I have my light infantry skirmishing where my cannon line was, and that's a bit back because of course I fell back. And the fight over here is pretty much over. My King's German Legion footer, well, they were firing. And I charged my cavalry into these Polish Legion because they weren't really doing anything. They weren't formed up, they're just walking around. So, but still, I got a few casualties off these guys, so that's good. And right here, this is where still the most of the fight is going on right now. The enemy still has a little bit of reserves. Well, a lot of reserves. I didn't think I would win this one, but and I'm all out of reserves, but there's a good news is that is that all of these men can come now and crush the flank of the enemy. And so right here, my men have run out of ammunition, so I just, well, like what I do with every other unit that's ran out of ammunition, I say, okay, well, go commit suicide right now, because I really don't need you anymore. And that's my mindset with men who've run out of ammunition. I just charge them into the enemy and try to hope that they'll do the most damage they can in melee.